Hey, I'm Eric, and I'm listening to 100 albums in 100 days. For all the details on what I'm doing and why, check out the video pinned in my profile. Today I listened to the 1989 album, The Real Thing from Faith No More. This is probably one of my top 5 all-time favorite albums, and it got included on the list as what I would consider a classic album. When these guys came out, there just wasn't anything like them. They really didn't fit in with the hair bands and the metal that was really prominent in '89, and there wasn't any grunge yet that was really popular. So they were just kind of just this anomaly sitting out there, and we just fell in love with this album. Me and some of my friends. They had 2 videos in heavy rotation on MTV. They had Epic, which is the flopping fish video you've probably seen, and Falling to Pieces was their second video that they had in heavy rotation. They had a third for From Out of Nowhere. I don't remember it getting as much airplay, but the first 2 were just, on all the time. So they got really popular really fast. This is their first album with lead singer Mike Patton. And quite honestly, he is my favorite part of this band. He has an incredible voice, and he has a lot of control over it. But he's also very quirky and strange and weird, and that made me and some of my friends just love him even more. He was just so weird. And looking back now, we heard a lot of weird things about him. So let me back up. So they found him. He saw the band at a pizza parlor. He saw Faith No More play at a pizza parlor. His band had played there too, and I guess the band saw his band perform, and so they asked him to join their band. He was like 19 or 20 at the time, and for us, 18-year-olds that were in bands and dreaming of making it, that was the story right there that you just got. That was the fairy tale that just some band shows up at a restaurant and sees you and asks you to be in their band, and you sell 1 million records and you're on MTV. That was that's the fairy tale. So we loved that story. We heard a lot of weird things about him, a lot of rumors, like he grew up on a commune and dropped out of high school, and his parents were, just all these weird things that weren't true. And I don't know how they got started, but there was no internet, so you just had to go with what you heard. And so I don't know why those rumors started, but they did. But we loved the guy. We just thought he was the greatest thing in the world. I saw them live twice. I saw them open up for Billy Idol once, and it was a very subdued show. It wasn't real. They just stood up there and played their music. It was awesome though. They were incredible live. I saw them months later at a little club by themselves. They opened up their show with From Out of Nowhere, and within 10 seconds had the crowd whipped into a murderous frenzy. The song kicked in, and Mike Patton literally turned his mic stand over and beat it against the floor monitors until it just shattered into pieces, and the crowd just went nuts. And the whole show never came down off of that level until they got done. Probably one of the greatest shows I've ever been to in my life. So this is one of my favorites. I listen to it on a regular basis. I really didn't even need to listen to it for this list, but I did anyway today. But it's one of my favorites. My favorite tracks are The Real Thing, which is the first cut on, if you had an album or a tape, the first cut on side 2. Surprised You're Dead. And then they do an incredible version of War Pigs from Black Sabbath. It's amazing. And of course, I like the 3 singles they had on the radio, but there's not a bad song on this album. And if you've never heard it, I will encourage you strongly to look up this album and listen to it, because it affected me greatly when I heard it. It was just so different and just so amazing that we just glommed onto it and just wanted to emulate everything they did. Jim Martin, the guitar player, I loved his tone when I heard it, and I spent a lot of time trying to emulate that as a guitar player. I spent a lot of time trying to sing like Mike Patton, because his voice is just so amazing on this album. He does a lot of different things. He doesn't just sing just straight sing like your typical metal or hard rock band singer would sing. He just has he's a very dynamic range and a very different way of performing. I cannot say enough good stuff about this album. I could talk about it forever, but I will encourage you, please, if you have a chance, if you have not heard it, go listen to this album. This one, and actually the next one, which is called Angel Dust, it is as good as this one is. It didn't get as commercial. It wasn't as commercially successful as this one, but it's still as good. But this album, there is not a bad song on there. And if you listen to it and don't like it, let me know, and I'll apologize to you for wasting your time. But if you've heard it, if you're a Faith No More fan or a Mike Patton fan, let me know your thoughts on this album. And then if you listen to it, let me know your thoughts as well.